There's a lot of nasty things in the shadows of the forest, and raven mockers are one of the worst. Imagine you're on a trip in the forest and your camping buddy gets sick. It's just a nasty cold, but it's bad enough that he doesn't leave the tent. You hang out by the fire outside, trying to enjoy the trip on your own. And then you hear the sound of a raven. You look around as the calling continues to get louder and louder. You open up the tent, and your friend is dead. An autopsy shows that the heart and liver were removed, but with 0 incisions on the body. This would be the work of a raven mocker, a deadly and powerful Cherokee witch that steals the lives of the sick and weak to increase the years of their own life. For every year your friend has already lived and would have lived had he not been killed is the total number of years that the raven mocker steals and adds to their own life. So, yeah, I'm sure you'd love to know what these witches look like. Are they frail, elderly women with a jagged, crooked nose, or perhaps a youthful, handsome young man with the shoulders and the body of a Marvel superhero? Sorry, but no. They're no Wanda Maximoff and they're no Tom Riddle. Also, real quick, I'll be telling you a story about one Cherokee hunter's encounter with 2 raven mockers. The skin on their body is said to be very loose and sagging, almost as though it were being melted off. It's kind of like a sack of skin being held up by a skeleton. But what makes them terrifying is their ability to remain invisible to everyone around them. But don't worry, there is a way to defeat them. All you need to do is look at the raven mocker and actually know that they are in fact a raven mocker. Doing this will doom them to die in 7 days, and no amount of heart or liver consumption can stop their fate. The tricky part though, is actually seeing them. The only way you'll be able to see through their invisibility is one of 2 ways. They'll lower their guard and become visible while preparing food or just relaxing. Or you carry the right medicine. But I mean, what does that mean? The right medicine? I'm not really sure. Maybe it's the right medicine for the person that is sick, or the right medicine to reveal the raven mocker. I don't know, but either way, assuming you have what it takes to see the raven mocker, you'll instantly doom them to die 7 days afterwards, which is actually what happened to this one man when he went out hunting and ran into 2 raven mockers. A long time ago, in the woods of Cherokee Nation, a young man had gone out on a hunt and traveled too far from home. Night was falling and he wasn't going to be able to make it back in time. But he did know of a house not too far from where he was. He made his way there, and when he arrived, nobody was there. So he thought they must have been out getting water or something. So he just decided to stretch himself out in the corner. And as he's laying there, he hears a raven's call. Now, shortly after hearing this, an old man had entered the house and sat down next to the fireplace, but he hadn't noticed the young man. And then he heard another raven's call. And as the man spoke to himself, he said, "There's my wife. She'll be here soon." And then an old woman had entered the house. At this point, the young man realized these weren't regular people. They were raven mockers. And with this simple look, he immediately doomed them. He had seen them and he knew what they were. He had remained undetected the entire night. And the next morning, he heard the old woman crying outside. And then the man had come in and he asked him what all he saw. But he didn't let him answer. He was too panicked, and he just told him to forget everything. He gave him a necklace that belonged to his wife and begged him just to leave and forget everything he saw there. So the young man walked out knowing that they were raven mockers, and he tossed the necklace into the river he passed as he went home. Now, nobody knows what happened to this necklace, but if you find an old piece of jewelry in the waters of Cherokee Nation, it's probably best just to leave it alone. You don't want to disturb what isn't disturbing you. So he gets back to his village and he tells everyone what he saw. They all go back to this house, and they had brought a Cherokee medicine man to ensure that they'd be able to see and kill these witches. But when they had arrived, they weren't greeted by the old man or woman. They had already died and were 2 decaying corpses. The years they had stolen had caught up with them, and it looked as though they had been there for years. But still, they set fire to the house and the bodies within it. They destroyed all that was in and around the house, but they're not the only raven mockers to have existed. In fact, there very well may be more off in the depths of the Cherokee forest, hiding and waiting for a hiker to stumble, fall, and injure himself. If this happens to you, just pray you have the right medicine. Otherwise, your heart may end up in the belly of a raven mocker. Raven mockers are not a breed of beings. They're ordinary people that have corrupted the laws of nature to gain their power. They need human hearts to survive, and yours is no exception to this rule. If you're now afraid to enter the woods outside your home, then it's probably best you just sit back and watch this next video that YouTube says you'll enjoy. I'll see you there.